Redline Client has been updated to 1.21.50. So Redline Client is sadly paid. Their Discord server is down in the description below. Also in the description below, I will link a free alternative for this client if that's what you're looking for. If you don't want to pay, which I do of course understand. And also, in the description, I will link my own Discord server where you can actually find a bunch more clients just like this one, which is obviously fantastic. So here I have Minecraft 1.21.50, as you can see, with Redline Client injected, which is obviously fantastic. So I'll head into a Minecraft world and quickly show you what this client is all about. As you can see, it is an external client. It is also a ghost client. Theoretically, at least that's what it's meant to be. Anyways, it has quite a lot. As you can see, it has Aimbot. The Aimbot on this thing is insane. As you can see, just look at, for example, the amount of customizability with this. There's a reason why this is at the top. If there's a reason you would get this client, is probably for the Aimbot, at least in my opinion. Anyways, then there is also a combat tab over here, movement, throw tab, some miscellaneous options, as well as a general settings area over here, which I was already in. Anyways, let's go through this. So starting off with the aimbot, as you can see, I already scrolled through this a few seconds ago, but this is obviously absolutely insane. There's so much customization on this. Really a bunch of options, too much for me to go through each and every one of them individually. Anyways, basically the way these work is hovering above it over here. You can click on them to turn them on, click on them once again to turn them off, right? And do that for basically all of these things. What I will say is that a lot of these are kind of small utilities, which it feels a little weird how they all have the same amount of space, but oh well. The way the sliders work, as you can see, is quite interesting. So they have this little red animation or picture, really icon here, I suppose. And as you can see, you can scroll this either way by clicking on it and holding your mouse, and that is going to allow you to move it. Anyways, here is all the utilities that this has. As you can see, it has Smart Aim, which supposedly bypasses server anti-cheat as well. And then at the bottom over here, there's all of the options. You can customize horizontal as well as vertical force, choose the precision, the maximum distance, acceleration, randomization, as well as the Pearl range if you're using the Pearl aimbot. Obviously, a bunch of different utilities that can all be tuned to perfection to bypass the anti-cheat you want, of course. Anyways, moving on to the combat tab over here. Once again, there is quite a few options. As you can see, there is reach, which you can turn on over here. And for the rest, with reach in this tab, there is also hitbox, as you can see, where you can once again tune the hitbox size with this slider. And for the rest, the reach does also have quite a few options. Once again, having the minimum as well as maximum. And if the minimum and maximum are different from each other, which they are in this situation, then what's going to happen is that your reach will always differ randomly between these two values over here. Next, in the movement tab, this client obviously has velocity. You can't have a good ghost client without that, as well as a timer, as you can see, and auto jump reset. This is very similar to velocity. It automatically resets your jump, as you can see, which should reduce knockback. For the rest, there's also a jump delay as well as auto S-tap, which is currently a work in progress. Anyways, for the rest, of course, for the velocity, as we would expect, you can customize the minimal as well as maximal vertical and horizontal velocity. These are all in, I suppose, percentages, and you can tune that with those sliders once again. Anyways, moving on to this throw tab, this simply has the throw potion over here. By pressing on this Pearl key thing, you can set a keybind for that. Then I can press, for example, on the key I want, and there we go, it's been set to L right now. Not a lot of things in this tab over here, but that's fine, of course. Then onto the miscellaneous things. There's quite a few things in this miscellaneous tab over here. As you can see, there is fake lag, the delay of the fake lag. There's a clicker as well, which I don't really know why it's on the combat tab, but oh well. Once again, tune your FPS right over here. There's the avoid menu option, the toggle misplace option. Anyways, here finally in this settings tab down here, you can change the color of the client, choose to turn on rainbow color, tune the rainbow color speed as well, depending on if you want to have a seizure or not. You can set this really fast or really slow, of course. With this, as any good ghost client, you can obviously, of course, also set a self-destruct keybind. Fantastic, who doesn't love that? And then finally down here, there is a, oh my god, I'm going blind, light mode option, and the night mode, which I definitely recommend staying on. For the rest, as you can see, there is also a config area down over here where you can load as well as save configs. Obviously fantastic, everyone loves that, especially in a client with this much customization. You cannot go wrong with making some configs. I haven't seen a lot of configs floating around for this just yet, but I assume that there will be some in the future. If there will be, then that is obviously going to be fantastic. Some things I think I am missing with this client though is in the movement tab, there is sadly no auto sprint. Personally, I love auto sprint. It's not the most complex module, but it does help you out, of course. And in modules like this timer, for example, this scrolling with the way that this is done can be kind of difficult sometimes, especially if you scroll far. As you can see, for example, it's kind of a pain to go back, and it's going to be pretty difficult to get this exactly down to 0. Although I actually did it over there, it'd be a lot easier if you could also double click on this and then just enter in the exact value you want for that. Anyways, for the rest, this is definitely a pretty good client. Do keep in mind they're still in development, which does mean that it is a developmental client, and of course the pros of that are that the client will update in the future, and you do have the possibility of more features getting added, of course. Also, I'm pretty sure I didn't say it, it's not incredibly obvious because of how much the client has changed, but this is kind of a rename of Skibidi Client, except it's obviously quite a bit better, except for the name, of course. Rest in peace, Skibidi. Yeah, as far as I tested it out, honestly, in all situations, this client was definitely pretty good and pretty nice to play with. Only thing that, well, one more thing was that it is kind of large, right? So obviously, when you want to tune something, it really takes up a lot of your screen in comparison to something that can easily fit next to a tabbed Minecraft like this. But I guess you can't have everything, and some people, I guess, could also like the GUI bigger, like this one right here. Anyways, for the rest, that was basically that. Subscribe if you like this client. Subscribe if you love me too. That was basically that. For right now, thank you ever so much for watching, and I do of course hope to see you again in the next one. Bye-bye.